Hey everybody, what's going on? I'm gonna get another video going for you guys here. I know it's been a while and I apologize for that. Obviously, as you can see, I'm outside right now. So I'm next to the trailer. So I wanted to do this video outside, and every time I go to do the dang video, it's raining or it's like 95 degrees outside. So I finally got a day that's kind of cool, and I got a little bit of time. So that's the other thing, is it's been crazy busy. So today I'm going to do a video about weight distribution and sliding your axles. I know that seems to be a problem that some people have. First, before I get into all this stuff, I want you guys to understand, and I want you guys to know that the stuff I'm about to talk about to you guys and go over with you guys in no way ever negates the fact of, if you feel uncomfortable, there's bugs everywhere out here. If you ever feel uncomfortable about the weight of your trailer and your truck, what I'm about to talk about never negates you taking this to a CAT scale and scaling it out. If you're ever unsure about your weights, or if you're overweight somewhere, please scale it out. The method I've come up with that has worked for me has made it to where, as a independent contractor, I don't have to spend as much money on scale tickets. The load I'm under right now, for example, is 44,000 pounds, 44.4 I think. This one I did scale out just to make sure, but most of the time when I'm 40,000 pounds around there, I normally don't have to. So I am going to be moving the camera around a little bit, so just kind of bear with me on that. So we'll start. You look down here, camera focus in, all these holes along here. Obviously that's your sliding axles. That's your fifth wheel, or your tandem rail. That's it. That's the rail your axles slide on. Each hole is a different position, and you can see right up here that locking pin that comes out, and my trailer's currently in the 12th hole. So for anybody brand new to the industry who don't know how to slide your axles, basically you pull out you set the brakes, the emergency and the tractor brakes, and then you'll push that gray button right there. You'll pull that out. This is that pin. And then from there, you'll get back in the truck, you'll leave your trailer brakes set, and you'll push in your tractor brakes, and you'll slide the trailer either forward or backwards, whichever way you need your axles to go. Now, one thing that people get confused, and there's been videos on YouTube that I've seen about sliding towards the problem. Now, this is 100% accurate. You want to slide towards the problem. Where people get confused is they will go in the direction of the problem. That's not what these people who say slide towards the problem, that's not what they mean. They mean slide the axles towards the problem. Now, sliding your axles is much like backing the truck, or backing a trailer, sorry. You know, the term left is right, right is left when you back the trailer, because if you want your trailer to go right, you turn left, and vice versa. It's similar here. If you want your if you want your axles to go forward, you need to put the truck in reverse. If you want your trailer axles to go backwards, you need to go forward in the truck. So there's a chart out there on the wonderful World Wide Web that says, you know, your weight limits on your separate axles, your steers, your drives, and your tandems is 12,000 on the steers, and then 34 on your drives and your tandems. That's accurate. Where that thing tends to not be 100% accurate, in my opinion, is when it comes to how much weight they tell you that each hole on the trailer axles, or on the fifth wheel rail, sorry, the tandem rail, gives you. It says it gives you 250 pounds. That's true to an extent. if you have a 30,000 pound load and the shipper loads everything in the nose of the trailer, meaning they go 2 pallets side by side all the way back, then that means that most of your weight is going to be in the front of the trailer. It means when you're fully loaded with that 30,000 pounds, that you're going to have about 15 feet, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, of trailer space left in the back of the trailer. Now, why is that important? Because when you move your axles, you're trying to, if you need to slide your axles forward, you're trying to put as much weight up under. You're trying to put weight, not as much weight. You're trying to put weight up under your trailer axles. If the load is all in the nose of the trailer, you're not going to get as much weight per hole when you slide your axles. So you'll be closer to that 250 range. Now, if you have your load distributed evenly throughout the trailer, from my experience, you'll be closer to 450, 500, 550 pounds per hole. And I'll show you guys a little diagram that I drew up a little bit. So you need to be cautious of that. How the trailer is loaded. When you're hauling heavy loads, knowing how to make sure your trailer is loaded properly is very, very important. Because if you have 44,000 pounds on the trailer, you need that weight distributed evenly in order to be able to axle your load and scale it out. Some places will tell you, well, we load the trailer how the customer wants us to. Meaning, whoever ordered the freight, they have a specific game plan of how they want this trailer loaded. That's all fine and dandy. However, the customer's not going to pay your overweight ticket if your load's not scaled out properly. The customer's not the one pulling the freight down the road. It's you. So some people say to me, well, Rusty, it's not up to me to know how that trailer's loaded. They should know how to do that. True, they should know how to do it, because a lot of these shippers and receivers, that's all they do all day is load and unload trailers. But just like any other place in the world, they get new people and they got to train those new people. So not always do they know how to do that, for one. For two, if they're going based off of what a customer wants, that may not be how you want it or how it's needed to be in order to axle the load up. And ultimately, number three, it may be up to them to know that, but whose responsibility is it once it's put on that trailer? It's your responsibility. So it's your responsibility to make sure that that trailer is loaded properly, it's secured properly, and to make sure it's legal weight to drive down the road. Because like I said, if you get pulled into a scale and you're overweight, they're not going to call the customer and say, well, we're going to give you a ticket for this truck being overweight. No, they're going to give you a ticket. They're not going to ask you any questions about why you're overweight. So knowing how your trailer is loaded and making sure it's loaded properly and the weight is distributed evenly across the trailer will be a big help for you. Another thing that's very important, knowing the weight of your truck and trailer when it's empty with full tanks of fuel and with low tanks of fuel. I drive a 21 Freightliner Cascadia. Empty weight with full tanks of fuel, my truck is just shy of 35,000 pounds. I know this because I've ran my truck across the scale empty just to see what the weight is. I do this so I can do my math in my head to make sure that my load is even. Some trucking companies have what they call right-way systems in the truck and or on the trailers. These things, if calibrated properly, are very accurate, and they're very, very helpful tools. The last company I worked at, I had them on the truck and the trailer, and for those of you who haven't figured it out yet, I used to work for Prime. Not a bad company. I left Prime for other reasons, but that's neither here nor there. It was personal reasons. So they had the right way systems in the trucks and on the trailers. Now, my right way system in the truck was spot on because I calibrated it and nobody ever touched it. The thing that you can't depend on is the trailer ones, because you don't know when the last time they were calibrated properly was, because even though they put a little sticker in there for them to write it down, half the people don't write it down, or they don't do it properly, or it's never been done. So that's a hard thing to tell. So that's why I figured out how to do this on my own and not necessarily depend on the right way, at least on the trailer. This company doesn't have the right way system in it, Bay and Bay, but they do have a form of a system, and it's going to get loud for a second. The truck's idling right now, but I'll show you the gauge I'm talking about here. So this helps you. So we're gonna switch the camera here again. So this gauge right here, this air gauge, this tells you how much pressure is on your drive axle right now. So right now mine says it's right at 60. Now, because I didn't have a right way system and running for Prime I had gotten used to it, I had to figure out how to use this thing. One thing I know is when this thing is at notch right there, just past the 60, the 62 I guess, that my truck is sitting right at 34,000 pounds, 33.9 I think. So when it's sitting at 60, I'm sitting at about 33.5. So how does this help? Knowing what that says, or what the weight is reading, helps, because so say you're pulling a 40,000 pound load. Tip number one, you know how much your truck weighs. It weighs 35,000 pounds. So gross, you should be somewhere right around the neighborhood of 75,000 pounds. Knowing what I have a stationary fifth wheel, so the weight on my drives is not going to change, or my steers is not going to change very much. My steers run right around 11,000. This load, they're actually a little higher. I think they're at 11,250 or something like that. Because I'm pretty much grossed out. I'm about 400 pounds from gross. But generally speaking, with a 40,000 pound load, I'm running about 11,000 on my steers. So if I'm running 11,000 on my steers and I'm grossed out at 75,000, now I know I've got 64,000 pounds of weight to play with, to split between my drives and my tandems. If I know that this gauge at the 62 mark on it is 34,000 and I get it right there, then that means I'm 34,000 on my drives, which automatically means I'm about 30,000 on my tandems. Now, distributing the load evenly across the axles is going to help with your fuel economy. Some people I know will tell me, oh, well, 2,000 pounds isn't going to make that big of a difference. Well, when it feels like you're pulling an F-150 down the road, it'll make a difference on your fuel economy. So I always try to get my loads as balanced as I possibly can. And you'll know when your load is unbalanced. You'll know it at takeoff. You'll know it at slow down. You'll know it when you're speeding up. You know, if you have to slow down on the interstate and then speed back up, you'll know it then. It just feels like you're dragging something. Compared to when it's balanced evenly, the truck takes off, it accelerates, it decelerates. Everything happens smoother when the load is balanced. And so if I'm 34 here and I'm 30 back there, now I need to figure out how many holes I need to slide my axles to balance up the weight. I've got 2,000 pounds to play with. I don't want to shift all 2,000 pounds to the back, because then I'll be 34 back there and 32 up here. So I'm going to shift about 1,000 pounds. If I'm at a 40,000 pound load and the load is distributed evenly across the trailer, then I can shift 2 holes. That's going to give me roughly 1,000 pounds, 800 to 1,000 pounds. That's going to be as close to balanced as I can get. This load, I scaled it out. I'm perfectly balanced. I'm at 33.5 on, or 33,750 on both my drives and my tandems. Sorry. So if you have any questions about that, let me know in the comments, and I will either try and answer your questions in the comments. If I have enough questions about the same thing, I'll do another video specifically on that. This is kind of an overview, and I'm trying to do it as quick as I can. So what I mean by loaded properly in the trailer, distributed evenly across the trailer. I'm not an artist, so make fun of me if you will, but here's what I drew to kind of help you guys. So here you have 18 spots on, or 18 skids on a trailer. Skids, I mean pallets. So you'll see up front, they go single, one pallet with open spaces on either side. And then they go a double stack, 2 pallet, 3 pallet. And then they do another single. You got open pallet, or open space with a single pallet. And then you double it up all the way back. Because what this does is it takes those 2 extra pallets and shifts them to the back of the trailer. Now you've only got about 5 or 6 feet of space left in the back of the trailer. Versus if you, now this obviously isn't measured out perfectly to scale. If you just double stack them from nose to back, you're going to have 15 to 20 feet of space left in the back of your trailer. So all of your weight is up here versus spread out evenly across the trailer. This is more that 400 to 500 pound range versus your 250 pound range here. Okay. Now, another thing that people will do, one thing you want to do if you're going to be all the way to the back, so with this, you'll go single, double, single. And when you get this double and these doubles, you want to make sure the pallets are turned sideways, because if they're straight in, then there's going to be room left on either side, at which point sorry, I'm trying to shift pages here. At which point they will do what they call chimney blocking. So they'll do a single, and then they'll put 2 and 3 over here to the left, and then they'll put 4 and 5 over here to the right, and then to the left, and then to the right, and then to the left, and then to the right. Now that's not bad, but if they're straight in, if you ever look at a pallet, they're not squares, they're rectangles. So if they're straight in, that takes up more space on the trailer and gives you more of a chance of putting yourself in a position where you can't axle your load up when it's distributed evenly. So you'll go single, come back up here. So to distribute it evenly and leave yourself a little bit of space where you can get that maximum amount of weight per hole on the slide, you want to go single, double, single, doubles all the way back, and turn the pallet sideways. That allows for distribution across the trailer. And then you're getting your 400 to 500 pounds per hole. So that's all I can think of at the moment. I don't want to get into sliding your fifth wheel because, like I said, I have a stationary fifth wheel, so I don't slide it. And honestly, sliding your fifth wheel is a pain in the ass. So, excuse my French. So my recommendation to anybody who has a sliding fifth wheel, figure out what position you want that thing in, set it there, leave it there, don't touch it anymore. If they can't axle you up that way, they got to rework your load. Get it scaled and have them rework the load. So again, if you guys have any questions about any of this stuff, please let me know in the comments. And if I get enough responses about the same topic, then I will do another video specifically about that. I just kind of wanted to go over in general weight distribution and sliding your axles. Reach out to me whichever way. I put all of my information in the description below. And please, and if you watch any of my videos and you're thinking about coming over to Bay and Bay, I strongly advise it. Watch my other videos. Watch my buddy Terry, Ed Got Money. If you're a single guy and you're out here to bust your ass and make tons of money, talk to that guy. He knows what he's talking about. That dude knows logbooks like nobody I've ever met in my life. But if you're interested in coming over here and you want to talk more about that, watch my other 2 videos. I put all my information in there so you can reach out to me directly. Also, in each one of my videos, I put a direct link for the application. So if you are thinking about coming over here, please hit that link and go fill out the application. Get in touch with me, and we'll get you rolling over here. Until next time, you guys who are drivers right now, stay safe, keep the rubber side down. For those of you who are trying to get back into it, hurry up. There's money to be made out here. I'll see you guys later.